Hi, everybody. Welcome to Outer Spaces Live. This is our March edition. I'm so excited. Hi, Terry.
Hey, Orly, how's it going? You are in a
I gotta
great,
say,
beautiful location.
where do you think this might be, senor?
You are
How
on
gorgeous is this?
our office. Yeah, our roof deck.
Yeah, for everybody that hasn't seen this gorgeous space, I'm currently sitting on a beautiful roof deck on top of Outer's headquarters in Santa Monica, California. I mean, it looks like a fake backdrop with like the palm trees, and you can randomly see a sailboat just going across in the ocean like, hello, people. It's really just the most gorgeous setup. And this is Outer's headquarters. It's absolutely gorgeous. And this is where I'm going to be today. It's going to be so fun. For everybody that's getting situated, I want to give you all a minute to kind of get comfortable, grab a cup of coffee or a cocktail, a snack, get cozy with us. We have such amazing content to share with you today, so I'm really, really excited. For those of you that are brand new and have never been here, my name is Orly Shani. I co-host Outer Spaces Live along with Terry. I'm a TV host and a DIY expert, sort of a personal style expert. I am just absolutely obsessed with everybody really owning their own personal style, whether that's their clothing or their home, whatever that is. And I have a YouTube channel called The DIY Designer where I do tons of really great DIY fashion and home decor. And I'm an outer showroom. You know, I have my own outer at home that I'm obsessed with, and I have the outer showroom, so I share that with people. And there are loud planes. I hope you can hear me. For anybody that, again, hasn't been here, Terry, will you introduce yourself to everybody?
Absolutely. I'm Terry. I'm a co-founder, and I'm also the chief design officer. So my role mainly is all about design and making sure that we bring great products to the market. And we started with the all-weather wicker sofa and now have launched Teak. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about, like what we're doing. So this is Outer Spaces Live. And so what is Outer Spaces Live? Well, it's exactly, we kind of called it that to make it as easy to remember what it is. And it's where we come live from our backyards to talk all things backyard design. And, what we're continuing to do is try to bring new guests in and then show like how they're using their backyard. So super excited about who our guest is in this month's episode.
Yeah, exactly. So this particular episode of Outer Spaces Live is really focused on spring. Spring is finally here, and it's that time to kind of give a little refresh, bring a little color, a little life. And every month when we do these live streams, we have an entirely different theme filled with tons of tips and tricks and giveaways specific to that theme. And we also have amazing guests that come on that are really experts within that theme and within that space. And today that is no exception. Today we have Coco of COCOCOZY, if you know her from Instagram. No big deal. She's an incredibly successful interior designer. She's the owner of Chirpyest, COCOCOZY. She's a top 30 Forbes interior designer. I mean, she's a big deal. And she's going to be here today to give us all of her tips. So we all have access. You can ask her questions, things you want to know. And she's got all the design trends that we should think about for spring. So it's going to be so fun. And I just want to remind everyone, if you have been at these live streams, you know we love a good giveaway. We can't help ourselves but give away something every single live stream. And today, this is what you guys are going to be getting. One very lucky person is going to get the all-weather wicker conversation set. It's a $2,300 value. I have them. It is one of my favorite pieces in my entire home. And someone is going to win it at the very end of the show. So stay tuned. Make sure you watch till the very end so we can find out who that winner is. It's always very exciting when we have a winner. I'm stoked.
I was going to say, I was going to say, like, oh, hi, Piper. Piper, say hi. Piper, you are on YouTube.
Hi.
She's embarrassed. But I was going to say, like, years ago, before we actually, right when we launched, we were trying to figure out, like, who we wanted to partner with. And I guess who was on the top of our list? It was Coco. And I was like, God, it would be really awesome if we can get Coco. And I was like, it's going to be a long shot. We are, like, this tiny little company. And we had our launch party. Like soon after we actually launched our site and started selling. And I remember the launch party, someone came up to me and was like, guess what? Coco's here. We invited her to our launch party. And I was like a teenage boy, like, what? Coco's here?
Yeah.
And I had to go and talk to her. And, like almost 3 years later, here we are, friends with Coco. And she's on our live stream. So I'm so excited to have her on our streaming show.
Me too. Me too. She's such a wealth of knowledge. It's going to be really, really fun. We're going to bring her in just a minute. But before we do that, Terry and I just wanted to talk a little bit about sort of trends in general and this idea that I think can be really overwhelming to people. And I think it actually can almost be off-putting. The idea that every season there are new trends and you've got to get rid of everything you have and just consume more and buy. And that's absolutely not what trends are really about. The way that I view it, whether it's with my clothing or it's with my home decor, is it's actually a really fun opportunity to see something that you already love that's really in. And when you constantly kind of refresh little tiny details at a time, maybe some new pillows this season, maybe some new throw blankets next season, it's an opportunity to keep those new exciting trends that you naturally love in the back of your mind when you're shopping. And so it should be something, you should never buy something that doesn't resonate and that you don't love, and you should never get rid of something that you love, 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 right? It's this always evolving thing where you get to add in new and exciting pieces. So for anybody that gets overwhelmed by it, please don't. These are things that when you hear them and you go, oh my God, I love that. That's the trend that you should kind of invest in and buy. And it doesn't always have to cost a lot of money. And Terry, I know you actually have a really cool sort of like thought process on the idea of trends versus like timeless design. And I always love the way your brain works. So can you break this sucker down for me, please?
Yeah, you said something that I thought was really interesting, and you talked about like fashion and apparel. And what I realized is there is kind of this thread that happens, whether it's fashion or food or home furnishings. And it's like in fashion, you have your basics, right? Those things that you're going to have season after season, year in and year out. And then from there, it's all about layering. And if I talk about layering, it's the same thing with food, right? With food, you start with a mirepoix, a sofrito, or like a Holy Trinity in Asian cooking.
Look how fancy you are.
And the idea of trends is just that, right? Like it is something that's going to come and go. It's not going to be around forever. It's going to be for a season, a year maybe. And so just think about it in that way. And, I like to think about it if I did a visual of a pyramid. And at the bottom of the pyramid is your foundation. And the foundational things are the things that are like visually bigger, more expensive. And then, at the top of the pyramid are like those accent things, those layers, the trends. And, those things, if you think about the size of the pyramid at the base, it's much bigger, it's more costly. And the thing at the tip is smaller and cheaper. So when I think about trends, it's about like doing something where you could swap it in, swap it out. You're not making a huge investment in it. And in doing so, just like your clothing, you can wear your basics and change up the look 10 different ways really easily and really cost effectively. And at least that's when I think about trends, it's that. It's like make sure you do it in a way where you apply the right amount of investment to it. Think about the investment side. Like I wouldn't want furniture that's huge to be in a fabric that's purple because purple is the color of the year, for instance. You'll be hitting yourself in the head thinking about something like that.
Exactly. That's why like the outer is so good, because it's such a great base for all of the trends to be layered upon. And so it really is like that. The visual of your furniture being the base of the pyramid is such a great way to think about it. And I feel like now is the natural time. I mean, should we make people wait any longer for Coco? I feel like that's mean.
Let's get her on.
Let's get her on. Please, everybody, welcome Coco of COCOCOZY. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're here. You're coming to us from your beautiful backyard in Southern California.
Yes, I am. I'm not too far from you. I'm probably about 5 miles away from you here in Los Angeles. Thank you guys for having me.
To have you, Coco. And thank you for coming on.
This is going to be so great. I feel like, having access to an interior designer, not only of your caliber, but just an interior designer who has a wealth of knowledge and really applicable tips is a resource not everybody has. So I think it's really exciting that everybody that's here for the live stream actually is going to be able to benefit from all of this amazing information that you're going to share with us in just a minute. Now, I do know that you actually have an outer, you have a few outer setups, and I'm dying to see what your space looks like. I know you're not sitting in it now because of kind of just like Wi-Fi connectivity issues, but you're going to give us a little tour, right?
Yes, I am. I was so thrilled about was it a month ago, a month and a half ago, Terry and team sent me some beautiful outer wicker, and I have it on my upper patio. And this is what it looks like. It is, I have the 5-seater sectional, and it fits perfectly in this corner of the patio that overlooks all of these palm trees and a hillside. I live in a canyon, and it just fits perfectly. And I've never really had, actually, I've got to be honest with you, I've never had comfortable outdoor seating before. I have a lot of outdoor seating, but I've never had comfortable. And in this outdoor seating, I'm able to sit in that corner when the sun is setting, the green trees waving. And then over in the right there, you just saw, I have the 2-seater, the 2 armchairs.
The conversation set.
And then if you look over here, this is where I'm sitting right now, down below. So that's my lower patio. And here is the little conversation set. Yesterday, that dog's name is Georgie LaFonda Broussard, and it's my friend Charlotte's dog. I babysit Georgie from time to time. I know, very long name. And Georgie LaFonda was here yesterday, but she is not here today. But that is my those are the 2 armchairs, the new armchairs, which I absolutely love. Wow. I did do a social distance gathering up there probably a week ago with several girlfriends. It was kind of a girls' night. All the husbands were left behind, and we all were able to safely social distance. We had one person on either end of the sectional, and then we had people in the armchairs, and then we threw in a couple other chairs, and it was like 5 of us, and it was perfect, and everybody was comfortable. And I thought people were going to stay for like an hour. They stayed for 3 hours. They stayed rooted in their seats, socially distanced, and it said to me that they were so comfortable and they felt at home. So I felt really good about that.
Awesome.
I love that so much. Is that go, Terry? Go.
Coco, I think, Orly did a great job introducing you. And, I was thinking maybe you could talk a little bit about yourself. More importantly, it's because, what you're known for is not you're not classically trained as a designer. I mean, it's just so amazing that you have this interest and this natural passion. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah. So I started, I'm actually was a former television executive, and I kind of grew up in the ranks of TV and then marketing and making TV shows and then marketing TV shows. And along the way, about 10 years ago, I started a blog called COCOCOZY, and I started talking about interiors. A friend on a whim said, you should start writing. I've always been a journalist or written all my life, and I was redoing a section of my house, a small cottage in the Hollywood Hills at the time. And so I just started writing about interiors. And then lo and behold, 10 to 11 years later, they say if you do something repeatedly over and over again, you become an expert. I started, it was interesting. Like there was a moment, like probably 4 years in, where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm becoming an expert in this. After writing about interiors 5 to 6 days a week, just being kind of design obsessed, roaming the world, or whenever I traveled, looking for items and found objects, that had to do with interiors, and just, perusing so many spaces, I started to really become an expert. And it was really interesting. You've been calling me an interior designer, and I always, I struggle with that because I feel like I'm still this design blogger, but then there is a part of me that sometimes I do, it snaps in. I know what I want. I know what you should see. I give advice to people and it just starts coming out, so, so currently right now, I still have the blog. We did a whole design show that centered around the blog and me redoing a house that was on Amazon Prime. It's now on Roku, and then I'm also starting another venture, which is a company called Chirpyest, which is a new shopping platform that I've been talking with Terry about, who's been helping me out with that. And it's just been really a fun journey. And interiors has been something that the home, boy, if I'd known 10 years ago that me being an interior design blogger would actually almost, and I want to get emotional, save my life in a way, because it meant that I had a beautiful space. It meant that my sister bought the COCOCOZY design house, her and her husband. She had a beautiful home here in Bel Air, but it was not set up to live and be stuck there for an entire year with your husband. And now, because they live in that house, they have a 3-story house that they were able to separate and work and then come together. So it's like, all those things that led to me becoming an interior design blogger of all things. It was just, it was a blessing.
Yeah, I'm so glad, Terry, that you asked that, just because I think that for anyone watching right now, all of you with us right now, even just to relate to Coco's story and realize that you can learn this over time, right? Like, this can be
That's right.
something that you just start doing for love, and next thing you know, you can be your own interior designer of your own space. But for everybody that came because they want to just steal the nuggets from Coco's brain, I want to get some of those nuggets out. So I'm going to start asking you some questions now that everyone can start to apply. One of the biggest questions I think everyone has is kind of like, what is going to be the design story for 2021, which is the year that still is not normal, but is coming off one of the crazy years? How are we going to see a change in design?
Yeah, I think that, I've said this before, and I said this before COVID. I've never been a fan of the open floor plan. And now I think that the open floor plan is, I think it's going to be rethought just a little differently, because I think that people never imagined when they decided that open floor plans were going to be popular, that you would be actually in your house 24 hours a day for a year. So now, even though we will be out of this, and I am optimistic that we will be out of it, when people are thinking in the future about designing spaces, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of shell shock syndrome where they're like, maybe we ought not, maybe we should divide things up. So it's really creating those distinct spaces in which you can do things. And it's like, whether that be an office or a dining area, a living area, so that you have those distinct spaces and a little bit of privacy as well. And I'm not saying that people with open floor plans are doomed. I'm just saying that in the future, I think that you're going to see you'll still see the open floor plan, because I think a lot of people still love that, but you'll see a little tweak on it or some kind of nuance to it that is,
Yeah.
And then also I will say this, pardon me?
Go, Coco.
Go ahead, Coco.
Well, I was going to think that one of the other things that's really important, and I don't know if you were going to talk about this, is the outdoor space. So So I was kind of thinking of getting a different house during this time. And I saw a beautiful house in the Hollywood Hills, and it was gorgeous on the inside. And 2 years ago, I would have bought that house. I did not get it because the outdoor space was super small. And not that you can't do something with a small outdoor space, but I think that people are going to start thinking about an outdoor space. My former house, which was a cottage in the Hollywood Hills, I had one outdoor patio, and I was perfectly happy with it. And because it had beautiful mountainside views. But the idea of having an outdoor space, whether it be small or large, but a thought out outdoor space, is going to be very important in the future. I think, again, there is a little bit of it that is due to a little bit of shell shock, where people are going to be like, oh, I could get this space. Or even if it's an apartment that has a small balcony, or an apartment that has a pool area or a rooftop, where you have some space where you can get outside and really take in, get in that vitamin D, and then take in the outside, and then also to enjoy that space with somebody else in your life. So I think that's going to be one of those distinct spaces that really starts coming up. And also just the idea of this, of really the kind of nuance that's going to happen in home building and home designing as we move to the future, just have a little bit of separation inside the house.
And even your outdoor space, from what you showed, you have like public and private spaces. You have your sectional up on the upper patio, and then you have a smaller area where it could be a little bit more intimate with just two people. So even with your outdoors, like you're already kind of building on this trend where it's like people, like you said, having this great room may not be best suited, even with a family that you love. Like, you still need to have some private space.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point, and I think it's something that everyone can just instantly, it's like we talked about earlier, when you hear a trend and it registers as something you love, there's something that just automatically makes sense about it as you talk about it, right? It's like, you're not like, what? No, it's like, yeah, I mean, I get that. I get that that is a shift that's going to be a subtle undercurrent when people are looking at things and looking at new spaces. So I think that's a really interesting point. And also for those of you watching now, even to give you some inspiration to carve out little spaces within your own home that can feel separate and private, and be creative with some of those solutions and utilize that outdoor space. Now, Coco, for when we do have our space set up, and let's say it's an outdoor space or an indoor space for entertaining, what are some of the biggest colors that, let's say I want to refresh with some accessories? What's a cool color that I should look to for some new accessories?
Yes, and I will always say teal. I'm a teal fan because teal to me brings in the blue of the sky, especially if you're outdoors, and it brings in the green of plants, and it's all combined in one color. You can see these pots. Well, I don't know which this side behind me are
Oh, yeah,
teal.
beautiful.
I always like have teal accents outside and even inside. Actually, there's a large amount of that there. So I will always say teal. But one of the things, it's interesting because somebody was asking me about colors this year and what we'll see, like whether it be an outdoor or indoor. And I think that you're going to see some surprising colors like reds and yellows and colors that you wouldn't conventionally see, necessarily see in abundance in the summer. I was doing a fashion piece for Chirpyest the other day, and we were looking at these red silk pants that were out for summer. And so the idea of convention, I think, is just broken now. Like we used to say, the spring is for pastels, the summer is for the white, the winter is whatever. I think you're going to see an amalgamation of a bunch of different colors. And I think you're also going to see people who feel like now, what are the rules? Like, I'm going to make up my own rules. And so I'm going to decorate with all black accessories outside now, and really enjoy that and embrace that and make that fresh. And so I think that one of the things that's kind of refreshing about this era is that I think that a lot of us in general have found our voices and found our voices and are owning, whether it be our style or where we are in life. And so what I would encourage everybody to do is to really, look at trends as kind of a guide, but then, trust your instincts.
Yes. Yeah. And I like this point that you're making about sort of one of the most unexpected trends will be basically anything unexpected. There's no rules, there's no following. Yeah. And I think that when our whole world gets flipped upside down, right, things get a little more simple. Fewer things actually matter. We care about fewer things. Our focus confines, and all of a sudden we realize, like, if it's just really me, myself, and I, why am I doing things for other people? What do I want? What do I want the space to feel like? What do I want it to look like? And we get to own that a little more. So I really love empowering everybody with that idea that there are no rules. Like, have at it. Here are some colors to keep in mind. Here are some trends to keep in mind, but do what works for you. I think that's beauother.
And what's nice with trends, though, I do think that trends are a good guide. Like all of us here are sitting and talking, and the other day, a friend of mine is in the world of finance, and she's super good with money, and I'm pretty good. Okay. And she was like, I would never hire a financial advisor to do XYZ. And I thought, I would never hire an interior designer to do XYZ because I know it. Yeah. So use, if you have certain instincts or you don't trust your instincts in the area, the trends are a great way to guide you and kind of push you in a direction. But then at some point, I encourage everybody just to do that kind of Zen thing, close their eyes, and just say, what do I like? Yeah. And like trying to get back to the essence of that as well. So use the trends as a guide, and then try to dig a little deep and try to figure out who and what you like.
Yeah.
I was going to say, something interesting is that, we talk about it as a trend. The way you're talking about it, I think about differently about how we talked about trends earlier about like fashion. And it's like when you think about like the blips in time, those generational moments that changes people's behaviors. Whether it's the Great Depression, whether it was the Great Recession, and now it's the pandemic. They don't know what to call the next generation. There's Generation X and Y, and now they're talking about calling it Generation COVID. And I think that the point of it is, they're calling it Generation COVID. Is that there's these things that are happening, and we're talking about backyard. In fact, Forbes called this year of the Yard. And people ask us, they're like, is this just going to be something that is a fad? Like, I don't think so, because the impact that has happened in the past year is going to be a generational shift. And these behaviors, some of it's going to go away, but a lot of it's going to carry forward. So like the importance of having your own space, the safety of your own space, of having a place for your family and loved ones. Like there's a lot of that I still think, while it's a trend, it's going to be a lasting trend.
Yeah, I think you're so right, Terry.
what does that mean
Yesterday you said something, Terry, about the sailor and the fact that also just our attitude towards things. I thought that was interesting yesterday.
That's right.
About that.
Yes, we talked about when the war ended and people got off the ships, they would just go and kiss someone randomly, and it's like the YOLO thing. It's like, you know what? Kind of like you said, it's like, it doesn't matter. I'm only like trying to make myself happy. I'm going to do the things, and maybe that's where like the individualistic quality of like, do what you love, do the thing that makes you happy. That's really like the most important thing.
Yeah, I love that so much. Instead of making out with a stranger, just buy some cool pillows. You know what I mean? It's the COVID version of that, you know?
But there's I see the thread.
Yeah.
I see the thread. I see it, Orly. Yeah. Terry, I see it.
Thank you very much. So we're gonna get to questions in just a second, and I can't wait to see some of the questions that people have for you, Coco. But there was one more that I had, and it was really about, I think fabrics and textures are a really cool thing to keep in mind, because you can find certain fabrics and textures that are really on trend right now in the color scheme that works with your home. So it's sort of bringing in a new trend that also is very seamless. Are there any textures and fabrics that we should keep in mind when we're out shopping? And then I can't wait to get into this Q&A.
Yeah, I still think that natural fibers are going to be something that people want to see outside and inside, whether it be jutes or, or grass cloths or just natural fibers. And, that might have been a trend from 2020 or 2019. But remember, we missed a year. A whole year is gone. So like this year's trends are going to be a combination of what was supposed to have happened. We lost a summer. One whole summer was gone, but was supposed to happen in 2020. So 2021 is a mixture, kind of melange of what was happening in 2018, 2019, and then some of the new. So I still think that there's some leftover of the natural fibers, and seeing that and blending that again with other textures in your space and different patterns as well. And, you can do something tonally where you put tone on tone, but maybe something with a little, something with a bolder pattern, something with a jute texture or a grass cloth texture, and then something with a small pattern, but all kind of in the same color scheme. And that can actually be really wonderful visually and provide that pop. Like if you have a nice neutral base, all my furniture, including my outer, always has this great neutral base. And then that way I can just bring in whatever I want, whatever my mood is for that season.
I love that. That's great. That's great. Thank you. Okay. Now it's away from our questions and on to everyone else's. Let's take a look at some of the questions we're going to have. I'm sure all for you, Coco, but let's see. All right. This first one is from Brett. What's the easiest way to refresh your space for spring? Coco, that's all you.
Well, so having had a pillow collection for years, I had a textiles collection, and I currently still have a rug collection. I would say, your textiles. So your outdoor textiles, whether it be pillows, throws. I'm sitting here right now. Meanwhile, you guys are going to laugh around the East Coast. It's like 70 degrees, but I'm freezing. So I have a blanket. I have one of the blankets from my textile collection on my lap. I mean, so, meanwhile, I also have I have a hoodie and I have a sweater. Like it's 70.
Okay.
And so,
get it together. Get it together. Okay. Oh my God. Amazing.
So throws, blankets, no, just joking.
Okay.
Pillows. I think, of course, textiles, that's going to be your go-to to best transform your space. And then also remember, always starting inside my house, I have neutral sofas, and then I can just change out. Right now I'm doing kind of like a minty, soft green inside as my accent. Outside I do the blues, but keeping that neutral base. I have a best friend who likes pink. And she has a husband who's 6'2" and 2 kids. And at one point they were living in a pink fantasy world. And I was like, Anne, get a nice white neutral sofa and then add color on top of it. And her husband, I think, was forever thankful for that. So anyway, so I would say the textiles.
Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see what next question we've got. Alrighty, this one is from Hokey Mac. Coco, pillows? How often to change them out? Per season, per year? How many should I pile on? It's a great question.
Yeah. So, there are two things that happen as you get older and you're a woman. You end up with a lot of pillows and a lot of bowls. Just bowls. Bowls here, bowls there, whatever.
I have so many bowls. I can't believe you just said that. I'm like in a shame spiral right now.
So, so that question is like, well, I mean, yeah, you should try to edit your life and not have a million pillows, but unfortunately, they just keep on coming. And so what I do, so I'll be honest with you, like here outdoors, I have some pillows. And by the way, I'm the worst outdoors. Everybody it takes really good care of things outdoors. I buy a set of pillows. I have some that I bought last year that are down this lower patio that I leave out when it rains. I don't take them in at all. So I probably once a season, because these will start to look a little drab this summer because they've never gone inside. So my outdoor space remains looking like an outdoor living room at all times during the year. So we don't have snow here, but we do like every 200 days have rain and that furniture, everything stays exactly like it is. And I let it get rained on and I use a great outdoor fabric, and then I'll change out probably once a year. And if something can last, it'll go into the second year. Inside, I really think that if you can find a look that you like, just embrace it for a while. I have some pillows that are new from last season. I have some that are 4 years old. So, 4 or 5 years old. So don't go crazy with having to feel like you have to change out. It's not like a wardrobe necessarily. But if you find something you like, keep it and then build on it. I have been guilty of having too many pillows at times on my sofas where people come and they can't really sit down. So I'd say edit maybe like 1 to 2 on either side, and or if you have a smaller love seat, just one. And sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of. You'll see that I have dual facing sofas inside my house, and then I have kind of a mixture of pillows that all kind of blend together on the sofa. So it's like they don't have to be matchy either. So just have fun with it.
That's great. That's great. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, what's our next question? I need to edit some bowls. All right, Rand Clark, Coco, our outdoor space represents the new place to gather. How do you create intimacy while taking advantage of the benefits of open space that the open space gives us post-COVID?
Yeah. What I do, so that's interesting. That's a great question. And I'm just sitting here and I'm always like, I have a thing, my friends always said that I have this thing called OSS, which is called oversharing syndrome. Cause like right now I want to take up my thing and go walk around and show you guys everything, but I'm going to refrain. What I've done is I create like little conversation areas. So on that upper patio that you saw earlier, we have I have a conversation area with the sectional. Then I have a conversation area where 2 people can sit and overlook all the palm trees and the hillside and just talk or have a glass of wine or have some sparkling water and lemonade and just sit and enjoy the view. And then I have another little section with some old furniture that I have, which is more of a lounging space. So it's like you creating little spaces. I mean, sometimes people come, I might have too many little spaces here. Sometimes people come here and they say, oh my gosh, this feels like a restaurant almost, or lounge space. I have lounge areas that I've created intimate groups. And what's really nice is when you have furniture that's a little bit modular, you can just pull it out and you can actually add places in. So I really do think of the way to create intimacy in outdoor is treat it like indoor. Like I'm sitting right now at a table that has 4 chairs around it that's for dining. Then I have another one that can be for breakfast. I have an outdoor seating area up here. I have lounge spaces on the upper patio. I mean, I overdo it, of course, because this design is what I'm doing. But you don't need to do that. But create spaces that the way to make outdoor work and make it feel intimate is to make it feel like inside. Just don't be fearful. And yes, you have to worry about weather and things like that. But if you could get some good durable outdoor furniture or outdoor accessories, they can kind of last through it. And you just wash them down and create those spaces that mirror your inside.
There's a couple notes I just wanted to sort of highlight that you said that really does pertain to the outer. For those of you that are new, that don't know a lot about outer and maybe popped onto this live stream because you heard one of us talking about it, outer is an entirely modular sofa. So all of these pieces are individual pieces, and with any single configuration you have, not only can you create multiple configurations, but they can all be separated into like individual seating areas. And there also are 2 different covers that make it really great for someone like Coco, like myself, who doesn't like bringing our furniture in, but always wants it to look set up. There's the the cover, it's like the shell that literally folds down and covers it. You can cover your sofa in 2 seconds. And then Outer just released, I think maybe 6 months ago, an all-weather cover that's like a full zipper encase for like snowy areas. So if you are thinking about that base pyramid piece, that big piece that everything can be built upon, and you live in an area with lots of weather and you want modular, you want versatility, you want ease, like Outer is the absolute best when it comes to that. Just in case those of you don't know too much about Outer, I wanted to give that quick thing. Now I know we have another question, so I'm going to shut up so we can take that question.
Wait, can I just say one thing very quickly about that?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even realize how well that went in with, I mean, I do roll mine and cover it, but like it does go with my philosophy. And I don't know if it's laziness or whatever, but I don't feel like taking everything in. So that's why this has also been very convenient for me, because I just loved, you know how you have a pillow sitting on yours? I just actually, I put both the pillows down, I roll it over, and I just leave it out there. And I don't like sometimes I just do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what I do too. I mean, I wasn't planning on doing this, so hopefully everything's fine right now. Yeah. But you just put the pillow in, and then you roll it down, and then you Velcro it, and then the whole thing is set. Yeah. All right, let's take that other question. Okay, Sandy Hardy, does your company help with furniture layout for space? Oh, Terry, I'll let you take that.
Yeah, we do. In fact, in the early days, I was doing a lot of the consultations, and the way we work is, we'd get in a call. We talk to you, understand kind of what your style is. Then we'd have you do a little bit of work, give us some dimensions of your space, make sure we know like what are the limitations or the barriers, whether it's a post in the middle of a room. We ask things like, what is the focal point that you care about? So we know once we get a lot of information, we know which way to configure it. And then at that point, we give you options of what works. So like the questions we ask have to do with like, how do you intend to use the space? How many people do you normally have on average? How big is the space? And then kind of go from there. But we do design consultations and they're entirely free.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sarah Ann, you gotta give Sarah Ann a call. She's the best. Let's see, do we have another question? All right, we are gonna wrap this segment up right now. Guys, I wanna just remind everybody that we are still doing the giveaway. So we are giving away a conversation set. It is the 2-piece armless chairs. It's the all-weather wicker. It's absolutely incredible. We're doing that giveaway. It's a $2,300 value at the very end. This is it right here. It's absolutely amazing. And you can see there's those kind of the shells, the outer shell in action. Coco, I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much for being here. This was so fun.
This was so much fun.
You, Coco.
And I'd like you, and Orly, please send me pictures of the bowls and we can talk about it.
Oh my God, I know. They're separate drawers and cabinets and stacked up. I mean, it's humiliating. I will. I will send you secret shame bowl photos. I can't thank you enough for being here. Coco, there was such an incredible information. Everybody, if you don't already follow Coco, follow her at COCOCOZY. Check out all her new businesses, everything that she's up to. It's so awesome. She's such a wealth of knowledge and so generous with everything that she has. So please do follow her. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
It was nice seeing you. And thank you, Terry, for having me. Thank you, Orly. This is great.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Chat with you soon.
Oh.
Bye.
Terry, that was so fun.
Isn't she awesome?
I love her. She's the best. I love her. That was absolutely incredible. I could have asked her 1 million selfish questions, but I tried to keep my mouth shut. It's so funny, actually, Terry, that last...
I have way too many pillows myself.
You're one of us. I actually thought it's so funny how that last question from Sandy was about the design consultation, because that's actually something that I wanted us to talk about real quick. Is for those of you that don't know, Outer still has that completely free design consultation, and Sarah Ann is sort of the lead designer within that team. She was on the live stream with us maybe 2 shows ago, so 2 months ago if you didn't catch it. And she had a recent consultation we wanted to share with you just because we thought it was a kind of a cool example. So this is a young couple that lives in Highland Park, New Jersey. This is their little outdoor space. It's a small little deck that they have just off a sliding door. They didn't have a ton of space to work with, and the weathers obviously can be really extreme in New Jersey. So they were considering Outer because of obviously all the weather protection and how easy it is to cover. And so what Sarah Ann did is she gave them kind of a CAD of a few different options. This is the 4-piece set. And what you'll see is when you do a design consultation with Outer, they will give you different variations that you could create. Again, we talked about it being modular. So like there's all these different ways that that same piece could be set up today, could change in a month, could change in 2 years, all with this one setup. And then let's take a look at how they actually ended up getting it set up just as they got started here. So this is their space right now. So they did the 4-piece set. You can see it's basically like a love seat and then 2 armrests that are facing each other, like a conversation set. And Terry, what I really like about this actually is that it's a really great, this is like the base of our pyramid. Think about all the different options that they could do now to really decorate and bring this to life within their personality. We have another photo.
Right. They got the mirepoix, right? They've got the mirepoix of their outdoor space, which is the foundation. And then they can assort it whether with a puppy or pillows or bowls.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
exactly.
You can really, style it the way you want. So it's like they've got all the basics now to be able to layer on.
Exactly. And you know what I noticed right there, that what it's calling for is the brand new Teak outer coffee tables that you guys just launched.
It is. That's right.
I mean, imagine that coffee table right there. You could have like a big outdoor dinner, candlelight, sit outside, have drinks, relax. It's really beautiful. So for anybody that is considering outer and just isn't really sure whether it's going to work within their space, just like Terry said, all you have to do is when you go on the outer website, you'll see a little tab that says design consultation. Click it. You can book a consultation entirely for free. You'll just send some photos of your space, the dimensions, and then Sarah Ann and the rest of the amazing team will put together a couple of options for you based off your lifestyle, what your needs are, what you want, your budget, all that good stuff. And you know what's so funny is that, you know, we've seen a little bit of the space that I'm sitting in, but we almost did something similar here with the headquarters at Outer. Now, obviously, you guys haven't been working here. You've all been working from home. The whole Outer team has been working from home. So this particular space here lost a little bit of its juju. So let's take a look. This is kind of what it was looking like. You know, listen, the good news is that the all-weather wicker can withstand the sun beating on it for years without any covers. So the wicker was fine. The cushions had been packed away. You know, there was an old rug Outer at the time. You hadn't had your new Outer rugs yet. It was just kind of set up like this. And let's take a look at what it looks like after we gave it a little bit of love with some of Coco's suggestions. No, look at that.
So nice to see more of our products too.
Yes, so there you guys are looking at not only the all-weather wicker, you're looking at the new rugs, which are incredible, completely recyclable from plastic bottles. You're looking at the new Teak, that's the square leg coffee table that really blends beautifully with the wicker, like it really does. You designed it that way, right? You designed it so that the Teak and the wicker would work well. I actually want to see if you can show this here. We're going to show this is that table, right? So I'm in this space right now, and these are the elements that Coco was talking about. Here's a great option so you can see kind of that pale teal. There's shades of teal that really bring in the sky, the water behind us, the palm trees. These are some of those natural fibers that she was talking about, that sort of jute texture with the teal woven throughout and the fringe details. You know, this is a lot of what Coco was talking about, and you can see how timeless it really is. There's a whole other setup that I'm very excited to show you, and I'm going to go there. And while I move, Terry, will you just give a little bit of an explanation about some of like the behind the design on the Teak?
Yeah, of course. So, you know, if you came to our last live stream last month, I introduced our Teak collection. I didn't really talk about our coffee tables. So I'll talk about it now. You know, the first thing is I really believe more in mix more than match. And, you know, while we call it a Teak collection, you could see that the design of our actual modular sofa is very different than the design of the actual coffee tables. And it's so that it doesn't feel like it's so matchy-matchy. Because if you want matchy-matchy, go to, you know, a big box retailer or go to Costco and you can buy a 5-piece set. And, you know, when you think about interior design or interior designers or exterior designers, it's more interesting when you're able to like mix it up and make it coordinate really well. And, you know, it coordinates well because of the material and the colors. And when you look at this design, we have 3 designs. And, you know, the impetus for the design of the coffee table was, you know, early on when I was doing the consultations, just me, and the customers were like, hey, can you recommend a coffee table? I couldn't find any that actually worked well. Whether it was because they were not long enough. Our sofa, the cushions are 29-inch 29-inch square each, so almost 90 inches, 87 inches. And then these coffee tables were like, 45 inches wide. So I couldn't find anything. And then even worse, like, a seat height, our seat height is 16 inches. And the things that I found that felt like they were the right proportions, they were dimensionally wrong. The coffee tables were like 11 inches or 12 inches. So if you had to use something, you'd actually have to bend down and put it down. So it just didn't feel right. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be designing these are really going to be purpose built for our collection. So we have a medium-sized coffee table, a large size, and the medium size is perfect for our sectionals, and then the large one is great for our sofa. And then, as you can see, when I talk about not so much mix, and it's more about mix than match, the design is different. In one, we have the square leg coffee. In this one, we have the tapered leg, and that's really different looking. You can see the way we did the slats on top. I call it up the bolt, so it goes kind of horizontally or across, so like long planks. And then on the other one, we call it the square leg, and it comes in two sizes. So you can see the design. The one thing I noticed, and I was looking for when I was looking for coffee tables, was that when you look at the legs of many of these coffee tables, they didn't really have these legs that had a lot of presence. So these legs are 4 inches square, so there's a lot more presence. So yeah, the whole idea is that we wanted to make it more mix and match. And then, actually, Orly, where are you right now?
Oh my gosh, I'm officially sitting on the Teak collection. My first time in person. It's so pretty, Terry. I can't take it. You guys, this collection in person, I have only seen photos of it. We did the reveal of the Teak collection in our last live stream, I believe, and it was a huge success, but I haven't actually seen it in person. It is so pretty, and I love that on this particular setup, we decided to incorporate some of the other colors that Coco talked about, the bold red and the yellow, in those natural tones, so it still feels really comfy and cozy and like it belongs outside. But look at how pretty it is. I can't take it. Terry, will you explain a little bit about the teak that you guys sourced? Because I know that it was, you didn't stop until you got the absolute best, and there are some incredible advantages to the particular teak that you guys decided to use.
Yeah, one, we knew that sustainability is such a big piece of what we do. And, with that, it goes kind of against when you look at what's causing climate change. And one of them is deforestation. So we're like, well, how do we actually balance this out? If we're going to do a wood collection, one, we have to make sure that it's got longevity. And that led us to teak. Teak is a wood that has been time tested. And from our last live stream, I think I've mentioned that before Navy ships were made of steel, they were made of teak, and they lasted centuries. So that's a good indication that if you get the teak set, it's going to last a long time. And yes, it does gray. Like when you first get teak, it is this honey color, but eventually it goes to this. I call it like a weathered gray look. Some people love it, some people don't. I actually love it. In fact, the way we designed our sofa, the all-weather wicker, was inspired by the weathered teak look. So, it's got the highs and lows, the darks and the lights. And that's why it actually coordinates so well. So once it weathers, it becomes very similar in that color. But
that's so cool. I didn't know.
Yeah. So
that's cool that you designed it that way. Yeah, from the top. Very cool. I mean, not surprising that you thought it through, but I know you well enough now.
But yeah, so one, sustainability is also about longevity, right? Like we're not trying to design our pieces with planned obsolescence, which is basically it has a lifetime of X amount of years. Like we want it to last as long as we can. And so teak was the right choice. And where we're getting it is from it's from a sustainably forested teak forest. It's FSC certified, which is a Forest Stewardship Council, which means their practices are done in a way that it is sustainable. So the place that we're actually getting the teak logs, for every tree that they take down, they do plant 3 saplings.
It's amazing.
Our teak is unique in that we only use grade A, and some companies will only indicate that surfaces that are visible are using grade A, and then there's grade B and grade C. And for grade A, for any log that you fell, that's a teak log, you only get about 22% of that log that can be grade A. So everything that we do is grade A. And then one more step about the sustainability, like we didn't think them planting three saplings was enough. So we have partnered with One Tree Planted, which is a nonprofit that's all about reforestation to combat deforestation. So for every teak chair we sell, we go way beyond those 3 saplings. We plant 15 saplings for every chair. So
it's incredible.
Right now, what you're sitting on and that coffee table? We're talking about 60 trees that are planted in place of the trees that are getting taken down.
That's just, it's so incredible. I'm looking, Terry, as you're talking, I'm reading some of these amazing comments from all of you here. Just some of you saying like, will there be, big dining tables and benches coming in the teak? Because that's so beautiful. Michelle R, so thrilled for the teak. Love the teak table. I mean, reading these comments from you guys, it's so cool to see all of you here with us. And we've been seeing them the whole time. Obviously we had a lot we wanted to share with you, so we haven't been calling them out, but man, it's just so cool to see all of you here. And I know that some of you have probably submitted questions, which we can get into. I want to remind you guys though, before we do some of those questions, that we are still doing the giveaway. So after the Q&A in just a few minutes, we will be doing the giveaway. One person is going to receive their very own conversation set. It's the outer all-weather wicker conversation set. It's absolutely incredible. I've had it for years. I'm completely obsessed with it. And one of you are going to win that. So we're very, very excited. And let's take some of these questions. But again, thank you guys so much for being here with us. It's the best. All right, first question. Benjamin Wilcox, do you need to put a treatment on the teak? Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, Benjamin, for the most part, no. In fact, sometimes people do recommend that you put an oil on it. And the worst thing to do is do like a linseed oil. Because one, if you don't actually apply it right, you actually, if you do many coatings, it becomes gummy. And by it becoming gummy, you can imagine the particulates in the air, the dust, the pollen will land on it. And it just makes it much harder. So teak, the reason it's so good, and if you do grade A means you don't have any of the sapwood. Sapwood is the outer part of the tree, and then heartwood is the inner part. And you have the inner part because the color variance is very consistent. And when you have something like that, that means the oil content in the teak is super high. The oil and the silica is super high, so it really doesn't need it. But again, I'll say a caveat is like if you live in a place where it's super dry, like in the desert, in Arizona or in the Palm Desert, wood fluctuates. The moisture content fluctuates. So depending on where you live, if it's a super dry area, it is worthwhile to coat it with teak like maybe once a season. But for the most part, you don't really need to do anything with it. When it goes gray, after about 6 months, all you have to do is do a light sanding and you'll get it right back to the color that it was.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. How satisfying that must be. Okay, let's see what the next question is. All right, this is from Eileen Decker. Can you talk about why the teak is so much better than some of the other ones, the cheaper ones on the market? Yeah, maybe like the practical. Yeah.
So I've worked with all the woods in the past. So, you'll see that you can get the woods in eucalyptus, in cedar. And then after that, there are lots of names for other kinds of woods. Like you'll hear mahogany, you'll hear white Meranti. And the difference is that, and this is me like giving the behind the scenes when I talk to our vendors. So I asked them, I said, tell me the difference. Like one, the cost oftentimes is maybe 50% more. Then I asked, I was like, okay, so if it's that much cheaper, what's the difference in lifespan? And again, I won't say what but basically he said, if you get one of those other materials, your frame's going to last 2 to 4 years. If you get teak, it'll last at least 10 years. And that is because of the makeup of the teak, the oil content and the silica. And, with all those things, it makes it like rot resistant. It makes it resistant to like termite infestations. So like it's expensive because it is proven. Like why weren't the old Navy, the English Navy ships made of cedar? Well, it's because it would last 2 to 4 years. So like you get what you pay for, and that's why.
Amazing. Let's see if we have another question. I'm just like lounging. I'm like, do I forget that I'm posting something? Yeah, it's like, hello, I'm going to sleep. April Gary, is it difficult to put together? Oh my gosh, I'll take
April.
this one.
Yes,
no,
please do.
Because I'm the one who does it. I put it together. Not only do I build it when it arrives, which is very, very little building. I'm going to talk right now about the actual sofa because I'm not sure whether you're talking about the table or not. But with the sofa, the entire frame is built and all that you get are the legs. This is for the wicker. All you get are the legs, and it comes with all this really cool tools that you need in order to build it, and this really cool crank. And I also am the one who rearranges the furniture, like the modularity of it. I'm the one who rearranges it by myself. So it is so user-friendly, so easy to do, easy to rearrange, easy to build. I mean, they've really thought of everything. So I can tell you, it's awesome and super easy. Okay, well, guys, that was our last.
Assembled.
Oh,
So
the Teak is fully assembled.
You pull it out of the box, and it's good to go. Because I've gotten the bad experiences where I have to put something. It's flat packed, and you get 5 pounds of hardware, and then you go to town for a whole afternoon, like that IKEA experience. Ours is not like that. It's super fast.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
So good. So good. All right, guys. Well, that was going to be our last question because we want to make sure that we get to this giveaway. So let's see who is going to be the very lucky winner of a conversation set, their very own outer conversation set. There it is right there. Who's our winner? Oh my God, I always get so nervous right now. I'm so excited for whoever's name pops up. Our winner is Emma Yu in New York.
Yu. Congratulations, Emma. I can't wait to see some pictures when you get it.
Yeah, and Emma, I mean, you're going to be so excited because obviously New York weather is legit. So you're going to be so happy to have something that's so durable, that's going to last season after season, year after year. I'm so excited for you. Hopefully this is just the beginning of your outer collection and it will just grow and spawn from here.
So before we end, congratulations, Emma. And as I mentioned, once you get it, I would love for you to send pictures of like how you have it set up. But I wanted to end we have been so fortunate last year and this year in the amount of growth that we've had. And I'm so excited to announce that we are hiring. I think, right now on our site, I think we probably have like 20 or 30 openings if you're interested.
Wow.
So if you are, just go to liveouter.com/careers and you can see what we have open.
And Terry, do they have to live in any particular location?
Ideally, it would be LA, but right now, you can imagine we have our team is geographically distributed. We have people in Tennessee, we have people in San Diego. We have people like everywhere. So Boston. That's not a necessary requirement.
Yeah. And I will say from working with the outer team so much, it's an incredible family to be a part of. They're some of the smartest women. You have a lot of women on your team, which I love so much. I think it's so cool that you do that. And they are some smart, creative, kind, lovely people. So joining outer, I'm sure would not only be an awesome career move, but just a happy place to come to work every day. So hopefully you guys will take advantage and check out all those amazing jobs. That's so exciting, Terry. Congrats on, the growth is so cool to watch and sort of be a part of. It's very cool to see. Guys, we thank you so much for being here with us. Every time you join us for these live streams, it's just such a highlight for Terry and I. We love it, and we've got a brand new one coming next month. So make sure that you always stay tuned, following Outer on all the social media so that you see when those links go live. I always post the registration link as well on mine, so you can follow me as well and find out. But we'll have another great theme, another great guest, more great content, more giveaways next month. But thank you for being here with us. We love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. That was awesome.